Hi, everybody. My name is Leslie Nance. I am the cancer coach, and I'm a certified holistic nutritionist and certified holistic cancer coach that helps people take back control of their journey through cancer. And I lovingly call this process becoming a cancer boss. And today I would like to introduce you to Marty, who is an awesome cancer boss. And she's just going to share a little bit about her experience. We're just going to have a conversation and her experience through the Cancer Boss 8-week program. So, hi, Marty. Thank you for doing this. I
Hi.
appreciate it so much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Marty, tell us a little bit about your diagnosis.
I was diagnosed in April of 2020. I am quite active and live a very healthy lifestyle, and actually went skiing in March, but I had been dealing with sciatic pain. I, for probably 3 or 4 months, searched for an answer for this left sciatic pain, and went to several, a chiropractor, went to a spine surgeon. I thought maybe that I had a ruptured disc. I then went to a physical therapist and found out that they thought it was sciatica. I ended up getting short of breath one weekend, and on Monday I called our new 24/7 care hotline because it was the time of COVID.
Right.
And they recommended a chest x-ray, and when I got the results, it showed that I had a large pleural effusion in my right lung. And being a nurse anesthetist, I knew what that meant. I was diagnosed, so I had a thoracentesis, then was diagnosed 3 days later with stage 4 lung cancer, non-small cell lung cancer. I also had found out that my hip pain was bone metastasis, and then later found out I had brain metastasis.
So quite a journey. I mean, going from like an active, very active lifestyle and work environment to a diagnosis like this.
Yes.
When was it? Well, I mean, you had a couple of really good things happen too. You had a particular mutation that allowed a type of therapy.
Right.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that.
So, being in healthcare for the last probably 48 years, I had never really, we did surgery on cancer patients. I really knew nothing beyond that. We took them to recovery room and left them off.
Yeah.
And so it's been quite an education. I found out that actually I've never had a tissue biopsy. I had a liquid biopsy, and they test for mutations, in particular with non-small cell lung cancer, but other cancers, I believe they do the same thing.
Yep.
And they found out I had an EGFR mutation. That mutation was like hitting the lottery. It allowed me to take a targeted therapy, a tyrosine inhibitor, and sorry, that was a mouthful, and tyrosine kinase inhibitor. There, I got it right. And it
better than I could do.
Yeah, it allowed me to take a pill every day. I was petrified that I would have to do chemotherapy and my lifestyle would be changed. I immediately quit my job expecting all these things to happen. And I pleasantly found out I could take a daily pill.
Right.
It did cause some minor side effects, but really in the big scheme of things, it was minor. I did have radiation therapy to my hip. My pain went away. I had radiation therapy to 4 small spots on my brain. It's gone. So I feel very blessed at this point.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm working out again.
Yay.
Yay.
So I think it's just important to talk about the fact that there were processes in place and you were having good outcomes from those processes, but you still felt like there was a component missing, right?
Yes.
still something missing in that part of the journey. When did you figure out that you needed, like, what was the trigger that was like, I think I need more support? I mean, everything's going pretty good, but I need more support.
Well, having a highly inquisitive educational mind, I did a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
And that research led me down a rabbit hole of, what diet should you eat? As Leslie has so pointed out, there's over 300,000 cancer diets out there. And I was very confused. And when I would ask my oncologist, the only response I received was, keep your weight up, keep your weight up.
Right.
And I thought, surely there's more to that than this answer. Mm-hmm. I do know that physicians have not been trained in nutrition in their education. And, I think they're
that
just
firsthand. I mean, you work in the medical community. I mean, this is, part of your life. So, firsthand that that's not part of the education. I think it's something like, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's like 7 hours out of all the training that they get around nutrition therapy. So yeah.
Yes. And beyond that, I mean, you hear people say, take this supplement, take that supplement. Mm-hmm. The oncologist said a lot of supplements interfere with Tagrisso, the medication I'm on. Yep. And be careful what you take. But then I said, well, what can I take? And he said, well, just don't take anything. So I was just really struggling with what direction to go in. I had no idea what direction to go in. And that's when I sought out Leslie.
It's really scary too and so glad you did, but it's really scary too to think about, like, it's cancer and doing it yourself from a website. I mean, that can actually be really dangerous. So the wisdom there is find somebody, to help you solve these problems. And so that's when you and I got connected. And so just a little bit. And, go ahead.
Also, I feel like I own a piece of the solution, that I needed to be doing my part to keep myself as healthy as possible. Right. And nobody was guiding me.
Yeah. And marrying those two together, saying that, you are responsible for part of this outcome, instead of relying on a doctor who's a little, let's be fair, can be a little disconnected from the situation. Yeah. They're a technician. They're there to solve a problem. They're not there to tell you how to live your life with cancer. And so that can be very confusing, especially when you have something tugging at you that says there's probably more to this than just taking a pill and living your life. And so, really taking control of that situation. Just a word about Marty. So long story short, Marty found me, we had a conversation. We both decided that it was a great path for her. There was a little bit of like, oh, what am I getting myself into? Right. I mean, you had a little bit of hesitation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I asked for 3 investments from every single person, time, remaining coachable, and a financial investment. And I know all 3 of those were a bit of a struggle for you. You're like, how am I going to make this fit in? But ultimately decided it was the right path for you. And so, I don't want to put words in your mouth in that situation, but I do want to say that Marty came into the program, and, I always tell people, if you do everything that I tell you to do and stay coachable to those ideas, you will achieve a transformation. And I watch Marty transform a very confident woman coming into this process. So it wasn't about like building confidence, but watched her transform from a being in fear and confusion around what was happening to her, to totally being in control of the situation and finding what works for her to push her towards healing. So tell us in your own words about what changed for you in your journey through that process of coaching, being in the program with me.
I would say the biggest thing is confidence in the direction that I'm heading. Mm-hmm. The nutrition coaching has been wonderful, and I have a solid plan on going forward about my diet and what's good for me and what's good to make my body inhospitable to cancer. And the fact that it's I don't think relaxing is the word I want to use, but it's comforting to know that we can deviate from that. The world's not going to crash in on us, but the point is to stay on track as much as you can.
Right.
I think that the mind work, the mindset work is unbelievable, because I really went in there fearing that, it's a stage 4 non-operable cancer. The medication that I'm taking will eventually quit working. It's a known fact. But now I feel like I'm armed with all the mental strategies and tools that I need to help me live my best life and control whatever comes in the future.
Right. And that's the truth, right? We don't know what's going to happen. And we
Right.
were just talking, we were just in a training before we did this interview. And I was talking about that cancer is a journey. It's a series of ups and downs. But if we have the tools to learn to deal with those ups and downs, then then we're always moving forward. We're always seeking what we want, especially when we're crystal clear on that. And the mindset work really helps in that. And you have been, talk about, if you do everything I tell you to do, you'll get this outcome. Marty's like, yep, showing up for that. It's because I always say, just like with your medical treatments, you have to show up. You have to be part of that process. You are the common denominator. And Marty showed up in spades for that and just did an amazing job. Was it hard? Did you feel like it was hard, or did it feel like it was, yeah?
Some things were challenging. Writing the cancer declaration was challenging, but it also put everything into perspective. There's some very deep introspective thoughts that you have to have about your life and your mental outlook on things.
Right.
But all in all, it has been so helpful to me. And, life's a journey, whether you have cancer or not.
That's
and
right.
It's how you choose to live it that becomes so very, very important, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I often say, live the life you're fighting for. But if you don't understand what's important about that life, if you don't have that clarity, then you're missing a huge piece of that puzzle, because you're going to have to fight for it in some cases. So, yeah. So, I love when you were talking about, like, you felt like some of the classes were written for you. So that's another aspect of that I want to discover in this conversation, and let everybody know that's watching this. Although that there were classes to attend, did it still feel personalized? Like it was applicable, like you could apply it to your life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything that all the classes that I attended had spoke to me, and I'm a big note taker. And so I go back and I review those notes, and there are many classes that I haven't even experienced yet, just due to lack of time. I had homework, but I love homework, so I was fine with that. But it was a gradual journey that led me to where I am today. And I feel confident about, I was always confident, but not in the world of cancer, but I feel confident moving forward that it's not the boss of me.
That's right. You're the boss, not it. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So lots of people have an aversion to groups and being in a group atmosphere, especially something around so sensitive as cancer. How did you feel about the groups? Did you enjoy them? Were they hard? Did you want to be there?
I actually want to be there. We have 2 a week, and the first one is a lesson, and the second one is really just Q&A. But getting to know these people has been very important in my life. I'm not on this journey alone. There are other people that are dealing with the same thing or worse things than I am. And it's just nice to know you have community.
Yeah.
It brought community.
Yeah. And I love that everybody's on the same path. So we don't have a lot of like disconnect in conversation where it really always, don't you feel that way? I mean, it just happens naturally.
Yes.
We're always in that same vibe together. You know, we're vibing on the same frequency, and that really creates that connection. So yeah,
Right.
the groups are so special. Even for me as the coach, I'm like, I can't wait. Like my two highlights of the week are Tuesday mornings and Thursday afternoons when I can show up and be part of this community. So yeah, it's amazing.
Right.
So if I had to ask you, just to keep it short here, what would be your top 3 takeaways from this process through this 8-week journey?
That we can make our bodies inhospitable to cancer. Mm-hmm. That mindset is critical on this journey to allow you to make it in the most peaceful transition as you go through the ups and downs. Yep. And I think the other word that you used this morning really spoke to me, defiant. Mm-hmm. That, you know, we are going to be defiant and not take things as they're handed to us, but if we don't like it, we problem solve it. And if we don't like it, we get a second opinion. And there are ways that we maintain control, because so much of cancer makes you feel out of control.
So much of it. You're so right. Yeah. It's, I know just from my own personal journey, you know, with cancer, that control was, and I'm not even like a control like person. I mean, I like for things to have their place. I know you are. And so but giving yourself back that control that cancer tries to steal from you, I think is a really powerful tool. And we talk a lot about that, like getting back control, you know, recognizing that fear has a purpose, that it's not there to keep you stuck, but it's there to propel you forward. You know, it's there to trigger you for something different, for something more important, maybe. So yeah, amazing.
And I think my other favorite part is that what is it there to teach you? You know, I've made so many life changes that have been positive, that have really blown me away. And I think that I often say that God had to get me out of my job with a crane, and a crane it was. And that it's really taught me to slow down and enjoy life more. I mean, there are so many things that, you know, it's not all negative. There are positives that come with the diagnosis.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If you allow it. We have to, when I say that, people are like, what? How could that be? But you have to allow that space. You have to allow that. And you did such an amazing job of allowing that to transform you. And that's not natural. We want to stay in emergency mode. And that's where I teach, you know, a different behavior around thinking about cancer. And what is it here to teach me? What am I to become because of its presence in my life? And that's very powerful. And I've watched you make changes from personal life to professional life that have, in a very short period of time, where I see like a different woman showing up. Like she's different. She's Marty, the Marty 8 weeks ago, the Marty today she's a new and improved Marty through cancer. I mean, your cancer's not solved.
I'm much more relaxed.
Right. Yeah. And on purpose. I mean, I think you're just so on purpose with your life. And that, you know, it's not like your cancer had to bugger off for that to happen. You're creating that despite that diagnosis. So that's right. So powerful. So powerful. So I think I know the answer to this, but would you recommend this program to others, people? And really specifically, do you have a specific thing or a specific person, maybe they're struggling with something specific that it helped you through? Would you recommend it to that, you know, that type of person?
Absolutely. I often tell people this is the biggest blessing and the best investment I've ever made.
Oh, I love that.
Both at the same time.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you, Marty.
And I have a new friend.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. We were just talking about that. We're just good friends now. I mean, this is how we've
Yeah.
met. Cancer has made us cross paths. And so we've developed that friendship out of that. So it's amazing. Well, thank you, Marty, so much. You're such a vital
My
part
pleasure.
of this community. And I'm so honored to have you in my life and to share time and space with you. And I am so grateful to your cancer for putting you in my life. And it's just been a blessing working with you. So thank you for sharing your thoughts around and your outcomes and being so willing and open to do that. I appreciate it. So
It's definitely my pleasure. Thank you for everything.
yes. So if you're like Marty and you're really, like Marty was, I should say, really confused and struggling about how to move forward in your journey, I'm going to put a link below this recording where you can get in touch with me, book a one-on-one call with me to see and to discover if this is the right path for you. If it is for you, I will tell you how. If it's not, I will point you in a direction to get the answers that you need or want through your journey. Either way, you're going to get massive value out of that free call. So I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. Thank you, Marty. And I look forward to
You're
seeing
welcome.
you again on Thursday.
See you Thursday.